Hi and welcome to a wee extra foodie video on Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali and I am making cheese scones with some of the homemade butter that you saw in an earlier video and using some of the buttermilk as well. So there will be a full recipe and details on the blog if you want the exact measurements and temperatures in case I miss something out or I say the wrong word, which I am very prone to doing when I'm trying to do many things at the same time. So in my bowl I have 225 grams of plain flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and I'm just going to sieve them together and get the baking powder and the cayenne pepper all blended in. I'm going to add the homemade butter that you saw me make earlier. Now, not my best batch of butter, to be honest. I could have done a little bit more squeezing to get rid of the buttermilk, but as I knew I was going to be using it pretty soon, I wasn't going to stress too much about it. So, got clean hands, so I'm just going to break up the butter a little bit and then I'm going to rub it in to the flour and create a sort of breadcrumby mixture. Okay, so here we go. Scones are something that I've always eaten, but for years and years and years I didn't make any. I don't know why. I thought they were quite hard. And then I started making like the sweet scones, or scones that you can have with jam and cream. And then I found this recipe for cheese scones, and it's really easy because there's no faffing around with cutters. You simply pat it into a round and then cut it into triangles, and it saves a lot of faffing around because the more you handle scone dough, the tougher they get. And scones, you want them to be light and fluffy, and I prefer my scones to be warm, so either not long out the oven or I reheat them in the microwave. I guess they could freeze, but they don't last long enough here. I actually just keep them in the fridge. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just rubbing and lifting, and then if I find any more bigger bits, just give them a bit of a, doesn't have to be perfect. I think if you've been watching me long enough, you'll know that I'm never going to be on Bake Off, but everything is edible, everything is delicious, and I've never had any complaints about my cooking or baking. I had an appreciative audience with my family. So yeah, okay, so still a few little bits of butter that you can see, but for the most part you can see just nice and crumbly. Okay, so to that mixture I am going to add 100 grams of mature cheddar, finely grated. You could add up to 120 grams if you just have normal cheddar or you have a slightly milder cheese. I haven't tested this recipe with anything other than cheddar, but I would imagine it works with most cheeses that can be grated, so that you can mix it through. Now, when you add the liquid, so in this case I'm using buttermilk. You can use ordinary milk, And I have used some dried milk powder and just added water. So when I did it with the milk powder, I think I added 2 tablespoons of the Marvel dried powder. Okay. But today, since I've got some, I'm using buttermilk. And it's probably, hold on, it doesn't fall. It's probably about 90 to 100 mils, but again, you'll know when you get to the right consistency. So I think I've got about 150 mils left in here. I used some for the banana bread earlier, so I'm going to add about half of it, which is about 75. And I'm just going to gently incorporate it into a dough. Okay, so starting to stick together a little bit, so I'm just going to add a wee bit more. Yeah, that's probably about 90 mils. There's still quite a lot of cheesy flour mixture that's not come together yet, so a bit more. Yeah, I think we've got it now. Okay, so gentle squeezing. Blimey, there's still a teeny tiny toty bit in there, so I'm just going to add a teeny tiny toty bit of. So that was a good, I'd say that's a good 100 mils today. It depends. It's slightly different each time, but yeah, okay. So I'm just going to tip it out the bowl, and you'll see we've got a nice sticky dough mixture. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so all I'm going to do is gently squeeze it together over into a round. Okay, so just really gently. I can hear Paul Hollywood's voice. You've overworked the dough and it's all tough. So I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. And I have discovered that when you are baking or making something on camera, it's never your best effort. So bear with me. Okay, so gently patting it into a round circle. Okay, I'm just going to move it over. Can you see that? Okay. And all I'm going to do now, I still got a couple of wee bits sticking to my. So all I'm going to do now is, with my big knife, be quite firm. Don't hack at it. Be quite firm. I'm going to cut it in half. Now you could cut it in quarters and then eighths, but I like my scones big and chunky, so I'm just going to do 6. And these are definitely the most rustic scones I've made in a while. So all I'm going to do is pop them onto a baking tray with some gooseberry paper. Yeah, no toots, I'm coming. Getting near food time for someone. Now, if you wanted, you could brush them with some, oh, I'm being gentle here, with some beaten egg. I'm not, because for me that's a waste of an egg. I would normally just pop them in like that. Today I'm going to do a little bit of the buttermilk on top. You can brush them with a little bit of the milk, and if you wanted you could put some grated cheese on the top. But again, I like my cheese in it. Okay, that one's going to be really interesting. Okay, so they're going in an oven that's preheated to 180 or 170 if you're using a fan oven, and they take about 15 minutes. So I will come back and show you what they look like after 15 minutes. Okay, 16 minutes later, here we have some cheese scones next to the banana bread I made earlier as well. So, because they're quite big, I put them back in for a couple of extra minutes just to, these ones in the middle were still a little bit pale, but they are cooked now, nice in the bottom. So I will let them cool for a few minutes, and then I'm going to scoff one with my afternoon cup of tea, and I'm going to enjoy it. So a good scone should break apart easily just with your fingers, and it should break in half. Let's see, yeah, they're too hot to handle. You should be able to just pick it up and gently pull it apart, and you should get it in two halves. So yeah, the proof will be in the eating. So I hope that was of use to you, and let me know if you have a go at the easiest ever, honestly the easiest ever banana bread, which is going to be sliced up and put into the freezer, and some easy peasy cheese scones, not too much effort for something absolutely delicious. I think I might just put a teeny tiny little bit of butter on them. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed that, and let me know if you make butter or you have used any of my recipes. It always gives me a little thrill when I realise somebody has had a go at something, especially the sourdough. I'm so glad that people have been enjoying making sourdough. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.